You know, in the high-stakes world of real estate, most companies kind of play by the same set of rules. But today, we're going to look at a company that's not just breaking those rules, it's basically waging a rebellion against them. And here's the crazy part. In one of the toughest markets in history, it's actually winning. So let's just jump right into the numbers.
Okay, so get this. 97.5%. In an industry that's famous for people coming and going, that's this company's retention rate for its principal agents. We're talking about the top performers, the ones who really drive the business. Almost nobody's leaving. That right there tells you something big is going on.
And it's not just about keeping the people they have. They're also bringing in a flood of new talent. In just a single quarter, they signed up 832 new principal agents. That isn't just a good number. It's a company record, an all-time high.
And to put that number into perspective, that's a 53% jump in agent recruitment from the year before. Think about that. In a cooling market, when things are getting tougher for everyone else, they are attracting top agents faster than ever.
So yeah, this brings us to the big question, right? With interest rates going up and the market slowing down, how on earth is this possible? Well, the answer is hiding in plain sight, in a conflict at the very heart of the real estate industry.
See, it all comes down to a battle for control. To really get why this company is crushing it, you first have to understand this fundamental tension that pretty much defines the entire industry.
On one side of this fight, what people want is actually pretty simple. Agents want the freedom to run their own business their way. And their clients, the homeowners, they want complete choice in how their single biggest asset gets marketed and sold. Simple as that.
So this sets up the two opposing sides. Over here, you've got the agents and their clients who are all about freedom and choice. And over there, you've got the big online portals and the multiple listing services, or MLS. Their goal? Totally different. They want to impose control so they can monetize agent listings and ultimately serve their own platform's interests.
And you've got to understand, this is not an accident. The source material is really blunt about this. The entire point of these portal and MLS policies is, you guessed it, control.
So, how does this control playbook actually work? Well, it's a pretty slick three-step process. First, the platforms get all these valuable listings from agents for free. Second, they turn around and monetize that data, selling ads and leads right back to the very agents who gave it to them. And third, they create rules to ban or even fine agents who try to market their properties outside of that closed system.
Okay, so this is where the company we're talking about comes in. They looked at this whole conflict and didn't see a problem. They saw a massive opportunity. Their secret weapon? A philosophy of freedom.
And their strategy is so simple, it's brilliant. Instead of just playing by the rules like everyone else, they decided to publicly fight them. They started actively advocating for agents and their clients against all this third-party control.
And guess what? It is absolutely working. The agents flocking to the company all say the same thing. They want to be with someone who actually has their back. They're just fed up with being told how to do their job, and they want to give their clients the real freedom they deserve.
The company's CEO doesn't pull any punches either. They basically call out the competition, saying they're surprised by the silence of brokerage CEOs who have acquiesced or given in to the platforms. Taking a public stand like this makes them a magnet for agents who feel that same frustration.
But here's the thing. This philosophy does way more than just attract talent. It's actually building a uniquely resilient company, one that seems to thrive when the market gets tough.
And we're not just talking about individual agents either. The company now has a record pipeline for mergers and acquisitions. That means entire firms are lining up, wanting to join them, all because they're drawn to this cause of fighting for agents and their clients.
You know, what's really wild is their leadership basically predicted this would happen. They argue that a market slowdown would hit their competitors, the ones without the capital or resources, way harder than it would hit them. And for the first time, let's name them. This company is Compass.
And that prediction, it wasn't just some wishful thinking. It is exactly what we are seeing play out in the market today. Their principled stand has turned into their biggest competitive advantage.
So what does this all mean? What's the ultimate takeaway from this whole rebellion? What does it signal for the future of the entire real estate industry?
Well, the conclusion is just, wow, it's so clear. In what is probably one of the most difficult real estate markets we've seen in a long time, the demand to join this company is stronger than it has ever been, period.
And that leads us to the real lesson here. What looks like just a philosophical choice, taking a principled stand against industry control, is actually their single most powerful engine for growth.
Which leaves us with a final, massive question, one that goes way beyond just real estate.
In a world that seems to be more and more dominated by platforms and control, could it be that genuine freedom is the ultimate and most overlooked competitive advantage?